a very difficult pregnancy with fibroids, so early that his first afternoon was in a washing basket.
He says to me, he's been to a sangoma. On that day, I was beaten blue and black.
I literally started to live my message because I was no longer a spectator.
Good morning. I'm with Mogotsi today. We've been together so much this past week, nah? So today we are giving a talk at Primedia for like a women's event, Women's Day. I put the program together. It's for all Primedia staff. And yeah, the theme is Tekkies and Tiaras. Just so we do something fun. And we're going to be joined by 2 life coaches. I wanted it to be interactive as opposed to like speeches. So I'll be facilitating a panel, and the 2 life coaches are going to do exercises with the ladies. They're going to have their notebooks. I think the theme is how to be your best self, something along those lines. I have not prepared yet. All I've prepared is the program, but I haven't actually thought in detail about what I'm going to say. So I'm recovering from South Africa. My voice is not 100% back. And then we have radio. My nail broke. And so did my other nail. So we're going to rush to the salon to do nails. And then we're going to maybe pop into Lovisa to get a tiara. I don't have one. And then afterwards, make our way, get settled, prepare. I'll have breakfast, meet with the ladies, and then maybe on the road I'll think about what I'm going to say. Sometimes I wing things. So we shall see. We shall see. We have arrived at Primedia. We're on the 3rd floor where we have a entertainment area, like meetings and announcements and things happen here. So we're gonna have the Durban Primedia office tuning in via link, and the Cape Town team as well, all the ladies. We're expecting maybe 150 to 200 people. That's quite exciting. Our life coaches have arrived, and we're just doing the final preps of like setting up the camera and the feeds, and it's going to be a fun morning. When I was thinking about what is the best thing for us to do together for an hour as women, we were looking at, should we talk about GBV, should we talk about our struggles? And then I said, no, we actually really need to talk about something that is positive. So the theme of today is showing up as your best self. And the reason I asked us to be in Tekkies and Tiaras is because we are queens. And it's actually very ironic that the date happened today, just after I produced the Miss South Africa pageant on Saturday. And I think it's very apt that that just happened as we are speaking now. The concept of showing up as your best self is so difficult. For those of you that don't know, I'm a mother to a 3-year-old. I had a very difficult pregnancy with fibroids, with threatening miscarriage, and my son came very early, emergency C-section, so early that his first afternoon was in a washing basket at home. Yes, in a blanket. We didn't have anything because he was early. And he was in NICU. I'm a radio broadcaster, I'm a talk show host, I'm an executive producer, I'm a creative, I'm a voiceover artist. And in all these different spaces in my life, including being a sister, including being an aunt, including being a mentor, it is very hard showing up as your best self when life is happening. I'm going to welcome up our fantastic life coaches that are going to be chatting to us. First off, Mpho Mogotsi, Mrs. Universe Africa. Mpho is more than just a Mrs. Universe Africa. I'll give her a moment to tell you a little bit more about what she does. And then we also have joining us Alison, Weihe, a life coach.
Oftentimes we always feel like where we start is a defining moment for who we become. And I want to demystify that analogy today, because I was literally born in a one-room house. The house was the toilet, the bathroom, the kitchen, everything. 2 by 2, right? Why am I saying this to you guys, and why am I sharing this to you? It's important for you to understand that the traumas, the struggles that you bear, or where you started in life, is really not what you are meant to be. Where I am today, it's not because of my own doing. I stand on shoulders of giants. People have lent me a hand.
Now we get to meet Alison, Weihe.
I didn't bring my tiara, but I did bring my queen heels.
It looks like you're in 16 inches. I'm loving it for you.
It was global storytellers on a global stage that changed my life. And I sat in that audience, and a woman who'd written 27 books spoke about the barking dog in your head. I had been a self-development junkie for most of my life. I was in the audience watching other people say how to do life. But I was a spectator in my own life. And so began a journey of me stepping in to becoming a speaker and a writer and a coach. My confidence was only on the surface. And that's why I'm so passionate about being here today, because of this journey that I've walked. I battled emotional eating. I battled so many things. I was big, I was small, I was big, I was small, 30 kilograms up and down, eating disorders, all linked to the brokenness in my soul. And at 52, I started on a health journey. I started to become whole. But really, I was just the foundation of me becoming whole. It was really at the age of 60 that I stepped into who I was truly meant to be.
I knew from being in therapy that not feeling good enough was due to the type of relationship I had with my father when I was younger. I have 2 brothers, and he just couldn't relate to me. So he would go and like support my brother in the D team rugby, but not come to me being the lead in a play, me singing, all of these things. And I thought to myself, if I just do a bit better, he will notice me. To the point that there was a bonus mark in our exams, I think in grade 5 or something, where my report card said 102% for maths. And my dad's response was, well, you're my child, what did you expect? The day I started to truly understand how bad the concept was of not feeling good enough, I went in for surgery a few years ago to get fibroids removed. Went home, everything was great until one day I was leaking. I had to go back there to open me up, and I was fraught inside. So it meant that I was living in Morningside Mediclinic Hospital in isolation, with visitors coming to see me with gloves and masks and PPE. Don't worry, I made it fashionable before COVID. So for 2 months I was there and healing. So they call it wound therapy. Every day they clean and they allow the wound to heal itself. They don't re-stitch you. So there's no end point. And the more stressed and depressed I got, the more acidic my wound would become and the longer it would take to heal. The day I broke down was when my veins were just done. So I couldn't get pain meds. They had gone to my feet. I didn't want a central line because I'm on camera. And my mom was with me, and they called my psychologist. And what we got to the bottom of, because I wasn't working, was I didn't know who I was outside of my work.
Jimmy comes to Joburg, 19 years old.
From Ventersdorp.
From Ventersdorp. meets a guy at like 19, fall deeply in love. And I'm one person, if I'm set on something, believe you me, maybe it has to do with the fact that I'm a Taurian. Maybe that's because, so when I'm set on something, it's done. So from that on moment, we were actually married in my mind because this was like, this is it, And by the age of 23 years old, we were truly married. He had paid lobola, we had a big white wedding, and however, before even that moment, the coloring or the writing was already on the wall. But many of us, including myself, I didn't want to take note of that writing on the wall. Fast forward, we get married, and in the first year we decide, okay, let's try and have a baby. A year later, nothing had happened. So I said, okay, let's go and see the doctors. Let's go and find out what's going on amongst us. And it so happened that, okay, I was fine, the problem was on his side. And the doctors had said to him, you cannot impregnate this woman naturally. Your only other way to do it is through IVF. So it happened that the first course of in vitro, you start injecting yourself with leucine, and then thereafter you're supposed to now qualify to the next level. Your qualification is now you getting your periods. I didn't get my periods. Again, you're thinking, I'm doing something that is out of body, so a lot of things can go wrong. So you don't really automatically think I'm really pregnant because how long now? This is now the 4th year we are in this thing. Guess what it does? Create more doubt in his mind. The doctor said, I can never make you pregnant naturally. You became pregnant naturally. The worst is, he doesn't tell me immediately. It stays in him, it festers, right? Now I don't even know what am I dealing with. Fast forward again, I give birth. Down the line, our son is 8 months old. One Sunday afternoon, things are getting worse now. I don't even know what am I dealing with. It's better if you know what the devil that you're dealing with and you can actually address it. 8 months down the line, he comes back. It's a Sunday afternoon. I was taking a nap because my son was colic. As a new mom, you deal with so many changes, and at the same time, you also need to deal with yourself. I come out of this nap on the Sunday afternoon. He says to me, he's been to a sangoma. And the sangoma.
You already know the story's taking a turn. The sangoma said.
The sangoma says the child.
It's not
his. And me, Mpho, I am going out, or I'm rather cheating on him with 5 other guys. 5 guys. So that means he's number 6. Now, if you've ever been a mother, a first-time mother, you know how difficult it is just to even take 5 minutes of your shower. Just shower. At that moment for me, there was no turning back. My marriage ended on that day because I just could not understand. How on earth do I invest so much of my time, energy, money, everything that I have into this relationship? I don't get what I deserve out of it. And here on top of it, now you are bringing third parties into it and telling me things that I have never done. On that day, I was beaten blue and black because I needed to tell him who are the 5 men that I'm busy with. That was my wake-up call to the purpose of who I am. And it sometimes comes with pain. But we face up to that pain and we forget about what is this pain really bringing to me. Today, I have forgiven my ex-husband. I pray over him. I pray that he finds himself back to himself, like I did. But I'm also grateful, in a very twisted kind of way, that I found myself in that situation. I wouldn't be who I am today had that situation sharpened my iron.
I think for me, it was easy to be a spectator. But to be a gladiator in the arena meant being willing to be bloodied, bruised in a different way to yours. And that shaped my entire journey. The willingness to not watch other people on stage, but to get into the own stage of my life. The reason why I get up every single day in this country is to allow others to have permission to step into the power of who they were truly meant to be. But it only happens, as you've been saying before, by doing, not by listening. Only when you step into the courage of sometimes not knowing where it's going to, not knowing how it's going to pan out, but you just step into the courage and the faith that you came here for a reason. That's when my life started changing.
Please grab your notebooks. The first thing you're going to do, notebooks out, the first thing you're going to do, write 3 words that are on your mind right now. Courage, peace, confidence, sorry? Empathy. All right, Mpho, tell us what is the purpose of this exercise and what is it saying about us?
I'd like to think that we are all thinking positively right now. Is that the case?
No.
Exactly.
No.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much for
What's
being
the word?
honest.
Tired. Okay. So we've
Yeah.
got some not so positive.
Yeah.
Any other not so positive words?
Yeah.
Yeah? Overwhelmed.
Thank you.
Girl.
Yeah. Anxious.
Anxious.
Okay.
Scared.
I love this. I love us because we are being very honest right now. We're being very real. Okay? The truth of the matter is this exercise is helping us to understand our thought process. Remember, on a daily basis, scientists have said that we have over 600,000 thoughts that process our mind on a daily basis. Of course, it's not going to be possible for every one of us to document every thought, right? But this exercise can help us to understand truly, what am I thinking right now? Because your thought process is going to affect your emotions. As you think, so you feel.
What Maya Angelou said is our fear is not that we're going to fail, but that we're going to succeed beyond what we imagine. And I really wanted to understand for myself, what did that mean for my life? A perfect example, in 2012, I wrote down on my 5-year goals that I want to get into radio after somebody planted the seed in my head. One day the opportunity came and Mpho called me and he said, listen, you've been begging and nagging us to do this radio thing. There's a slot available for you on Christmas Eve. The overnight slot. It was my very first show. When he called, it was out of nowhere and I was like, I'm so good to go, I'm ready. I hung up the phone and I sobbed and called my mom. I said, I told people I can do radio and I can't do it. I don't know if I can do it. And I'll never forget coming in on the first show because my biggest insecurity was the greats at the time, Yoridi Kabi, all of them were journalists and I'm not a journalist. So somebody gave me great advice to say, be yourself and know a little bit about everything.
You have a voice to shape this country through your actions that might seem so insignificant, but they're not. Sitting here in this building is significant. We are sitting in a significant time in this country.
Advocate for yourselves because you cannot wait for someone else to advocate for you. Our challenges are unique, and if there aren't seats at the table for us to advocate for ourselves, we do it in the spaces that we are in, for the things that we want, so that we can be working for a company we are proud to work for as women. So please take all the messages that you've received today, spread them at home with your sisters, your mothers, your children, and I really, really believe that this is the start of something absolutely phenomenal for each and every one of you. To our phenomenal speakers, a big round of applause. I just had a quick lunch with the ladies. It went really well. And it is exactly 1 o'clock. I'm supposed to be in studio for my radio show. Bye!